Welcome to Herrenchiemsee Palace, Germany's miniature Versailles, built by King Ludwig II on an island in an alpine lake. It is as ridiculous as it sounds. And as a local, it's one of my favorite day trips from Munich as well. The kind of trip that's half journey, half destination, because to get to this very spot, we're going to need to take a lot of cool transportation options. Trains, trams, ferries, you name it. It's going to be a real adventure, and I can't wait to take you along for the ride. And so, like all grand adventures, we're going to start right here in the Munich Hauptbahnhof, perpetually under construction. Because you know as I do that, well, it's all well and good making an inspirational travel video about one of the best day trips from Munich, but how useful is that if I don't show you how to get there? Let's get to the train.
It's gonna be busy.
Which unfortunately for us, heading to Tram Chiemsee means taking the RE5 to Salzburg, perhaps the busiest day trip train out of Munich. You need to get here early or you're going to be standing. Oof. They should run more trains to Tram. That was easily the worst train ride I have ever had, or at least ever really recorded on this channel. And I include it because I want you to understand that I am incredibly honest. If I say it's a good train ride, it's a good train ride. If I say you need to show up early, and even then it's going to be crowded, I mean it. But frankly, I think the train operators should be pretty ashamed of themselves. There is a massive demand on the Munich to Salzburg line, and there are so many amazing places along the way that are just so much harder to visit than they need to be. And it's a private company as well, which, not to get too political, but they fucking suck. Run more trains. Bring them under public control. However, it's not all bad though. As terrible as that train ride was, we're now here at the Tram Chiemsee train station. We need to get to the port. That is a really cool way of doing it. A much better train. In truth though, you have three choices now. There's a bus that often runs down to the port. There is the small gauge railway that I'm going to embark on, but if you wanted to walk it, it's not that far, and you can actually just essentially follow the tram tracks the entire way there. It's quite a nice walk, but I mean, come on. And friends of the channel who have been around for a little while will know this is not the first time we have ridden the small gauge railway here at Tram Chiemsee. We did it for the special video Christmas Market Island, where they were actually running a little 1881 steam tram called LINGODA that I still think about almost every day. Today there's a diesel locomotive. Her name's Lisa. Let's get on board. And you could find yourself a seat in one of the excellent carriages, but my favorite place to be is right behind the train, a little standing room area. It's actually quite a scenic little trundle on this tram. Oh, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Oh, it's the little things in life though, isn't it? Just a little train trundling through a little village. I'm having the best day. All trains are forgiven for their trespasses.
It did the thing!
And Lisa agrees. Look at those cars. Boo! Boo to the cars for they're not riding the tram. Are those rubber wheels? Ew. See what I'm saying about the walk though? It's equally nice. And in a pinch, you know, maybe we might even walk on our way back. That was an actually excellent train ride, if I do say so myself. But now, our time on the rails is over. We're at the lakeshore. It's time for our next mode of transport. The Chiemsee ferries are yet another reason why I absolutely love this day trip, but there is a little bit of a meta to how I like to do my tickets. Now, I like to get my train ticket nice and early. I like to get my palace tour for like the mid-afternoon, but considering train delays and who knows what else, I don't like to buy my ferry ticket until I arrive. So let's go get the ticket, let's get on board, let's get some good lake views.
Zwei Erwachsene, Herrenchiemsee, hin und zurück. Okay. Danke.
All right, tickets accomplished, logistical hurdles over. All we have to do now is sit back, enjoy the ride. Soon we'll be on the island. Now that we are here though, there is a lot to do, but it's just past noon. I am absolutely starving, so I think you can guess where we're going first. So let's talk game plan, because there is a lot to do. Herreninsel, the largest island on Chiemsee, is full of amazing things to enjoy. Most notably, a restaurant I want to go to right now, and Herrenchiemsee King Ludwig II's massive palatial home. More than that though, there are also just so many woodland trails to explore, so we really do need to get a move on. One more logistical point while I still have your attention though, is you need to take a photo of the ferry schedule. They will abandon you on this island. No, this is not from personal experience, but the boats often don't run as late as you think they do. There is no alarm, there is no signal that you're about to be stuck here, left calling a boat taxi, which no doubt is very expensive. So take a photo of that, keep it memorized, and then you can go off and explore the island itself. So it's gonna be food, palace, and a damn good walk in that order. The only thing standing between me and a cold beer though, is this flight of stairs. Let's go.
But before we do that, let's hear a word from our sponsor, LINGODA, an online language learning school that lets you take lessons from the comfort of your own home at your own schedule. What I love about LINGODA is that you can really tailor your language learning needs to the lessons that you take. Before I started with LINGODA, I was in a little bit of a language learning rut. Longtime fans of the channel will know that I teach freelance English lessons. Most of my private students are small children or gymnasium teenagers, so I end up speaking and hearing a lot of German on a day-to-day basis. Whether it's communicating with the parents or explaining complicated things to my students in German, I was just speaking a lot of it. But because I was speaking to a lot of children, my level didn't really progress past sort of the B1, B2 level. That's where LINGODA came in. Because I really had all of the grammar basics, I could choose exactly what I thought I needed to work on. I could decide if I wanted a private or small group class, if I wanted to work on speaking, listening, or a very specific grammatical focus. LINGODA really empowered me to hone in on what I thought I needed to do to improve my German and help me do it. And after using LINGODA for a little while, I noticed that my German had really improved in ways it just hadn't for a really long time. So if you think that LINGODA could help you out, please click the link in the description box below for up to 25% off your language learning journey. I think it could really work for you the way it worked for me. So again, click the link in the description box below. Back to Chiemsee.
I am so shocked. On a day as beautiful as today, I definitely thought we were gonna have to be like pushing people over to get a seat here.
I mean, it's been pushing people over all day. The train, the boat was a bit busy. Lisa was all right, but here, there are places to spare. I can't believe it.
Thank God.
And now this beer. Prost. The food has finally arrived. I am incredibly excited. I went with the classic traditional Käsespätzle, one of my favorite meals on this channel. But if I'm being honest, I wanted the Wiener Schnitzel, but I don't dare it anymore because I've been unfairly bullied in our previous videos. You guys always tell me I'm wrong. So today we're eating Käsespätzle. Maybe you can correct me again. For those not in the know, it's a classic German egg noodle, the Spätzle, with Käse, which usually a local mountain Bergkäse, a mountain cheese. with roast onions on top. It's absolutely fantastic. It's what it says on the tin. It's one of my favorite hearty comfort meals here at home. But let's try it. That is absolutely fantastic. I always prefer it when it comes in a hot skillet, but I'll tell you what, with this view, this ambiance, and this flavor, this taste, absolutely fantastic. This is a good Käsespätzle. However, ultimately, a Käsespätzle is a Käsespätzle, and what I'm most excited today for this little mini food tour is what Camille's eating.
Oh yeah. So normally I have a really hard time when we're traveling in Bavaria because it is so meat-based. But we're on an island in the middle of a lake, so I'm gonna have some fish.
It looks incredible.
And it better be because it was 27 euros. But it is the local Chiemsee fish, so I think it'll be worth it.
I'm so glad you finally get to be included in a food tour.
Me too. That is so fishy. Basically the reason that I'm a pescatarian and not a real vegetarian, I love fish and I'm really loving this.
So what did you get exactly?
So it's Chiemsee bream that they fish out of the lake. And it must be really fresh because it tastes fantastic. Like I said, the taste is incredibly fishy, but it's super balanced out by a bed of hollandaise sauce. It is a super local, traditional Bavarian dish from the lake that we are currently on. 10 out of 10, would do again.
That was absolutely fantastic. We've been there a few times now, and every time it is a treat. But now that we're satiated, we're happy, we're settled, we've only got 40 minutes until our tour of the palace. It's gonna be about a 20-minute walk. We need to get going. The only problem though with this walk to the castle is when you're not in the lovely shaded woods. And we are here on the hottest day of the year. So I will hear no disparaging comments about my fantastic neck fan. It is the only thing keeping this video possible right now. Coming here in the shoulder season, that might be the right way to do it. And something else that I really love about this island, something I really respect about the Herrenchiemsee, is its attitude towards animal and nature conservation. Specifically, how much they look after their rare bat population. You can see it all throughout the woods. They have these little bat boxes, and they're putting in a massive effort to restore a relatively endangered local species of bat. It's really cool, and I love seeing that in these kinds of places. Now that is a view.
I know, right? It's insane. Are we at Versailles?
King Ludwig wants us to believe that.
I think we are.
No, it's a little smaller. It's so much bigger than Linderhof Palace.
Yeah, that's insane. I'm so excited to see the inside.
Did you hear those guys who just walked by? That's bad omens for later. They came from the path I want to walk later,
Oh, no.
saying that they were attacked by a swarm of mosquitoes. And it's been a little mozzie today. Oof. There's actually been a lot of bad weather lately in Munich. That's why we're filming this on the hottest day. Not because we want to, but because there's gonna be a week of storms, and there's just been a week of storms. This is the only nice day that I could record where I wasn't stuck inside at the office. Like, comment, subscribe, help me make this my full-time job. Anyway, with all that standing water, there's a lot of mosquitoes. I think I mentioned this place is a nature preserve, and it is, and they don't use any pesticides. So sometimes it can get a little buggy. I don't know. Let's see how we feel, but we might need to be careful with our hike later, walking around. I don't need any more bug bites. Enough of mosquitoes though, now on to the main event. It's time to go inside, it's time for the tour.
So I am pretty excited. It starts in about 10 minutes. We went to Neuschwanstein, did the tour inside, didn't love it, but we did love the tour in Linderhof. So I'm super curious to see how I feel about this.
I think it's about time to learn if we're palace people or not.
Let's go.
And one more quick note, you are of course not allowed to film inside or during the tour. So it's time to put the cameras down and I will see you on the other side. Now, spoiler alert, I'm in a pretty good mood. I had a lot of fun on that tour, and I cannot believe how peaceful this rear courtyard of the palace is. So let's take a seat, let's talk about it. All right, now, I must admit, I still don't think I'm a palace person yet, but King Ludwig is doing his best to try and convince me, I'll tell you that. I mean, what did you think of the tour?
I really loved it. It was great. I mean, as far as tours go, it was very short. It was like an hour long. And I feel like they took us into each room and sort of imparted the most interesting and relevant sort of historical nugget. And I really love that kind of tour. This is what you need to know about this room. Isn't that interesting? And we were like,
Very cool, moving on. No, I completely agree. And I think one of the things I enjoyed the most is that, as you can tell, the palace is symmetrical. It's built in two mirrored wings, if you will, and in classic Ludwig fashion, only one of them is furnished. So you go into one and it's all clad in this gorgeous marble. It's really cool. And then you end the tour in a completely unfinished section. And it kind of feels almost like under construction. And I think that just adds such a really cool contrast. You get to see what the end result was and also see how they were getting there. So I also really loved that part of the tour myself too. As far as becoming a palace person though, like I said, still not all the way there, but King Ludwig knows where to place a palace, I'll tell you that. Here on an island in a lake, absolutely incredible. I mean, I would actually be quite curious, how would you rank them now that we've done all three major King Ludwig palaces?
I would say this is a solid 2 out of the 3. I liked Linderhof more. I didn't enjoy
Oh really? Linderhof
Neuschwanstein.
more? Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Definitely we've been pretty clear on this channel that we're not huge Neuschwanstein fans. And Linderhof, I think, is it because you just like mountains more than lakes? Is that it?
It might be.
You know, I think honestly I agree with that ranking. If you like lakes more than mountains, Herrenchiemsee is going to be your favorite. If you like mountains over lakes, Linderhof will be your favorite. And if you're into that fairy tale castle aesthetic, then of course Neuschwanstein, you can't be beat. My legs are starting to get stiff. I think we need to go on that walk. And I think we've gotten really lucky as well, because I told you there was a storm coming. Tomorrow is going to be awful. But that cloud coverage, oh, it's made the heat dissipate. The fountains are on. Oh, the weather is so much nicer. I'm glad we hung out in the palace for a little while because it was brutal earlier and I'm ready to explore. These palaces though, man, they really know how to make you feel small. It is just so huge, so opulent. This is probably the most beautiful fountain I've ever seen, and they have 2 of them. It's just, it boggles the mind. They're so fun to look at. Just all the statues everywhere. It's a beautiful place to be. Though unequivocally, the best part of any fountain is gotta be the ducks. I don't think they like me very much, but what a beautiful place to swim. And of course, it's plainly obvious that there is this absolutely massive sight line from the palace front door over to the lake. And one of the reasons for that, you can notice it on the map and you can notice it with your own eyes, is the beautiful water inlet, that canal right over there, that was used for the actual shipping of the bricks that made the palace itself. One of the reasons why it was so expensive was because all of the bricks, all of the marble, well, you don't get that on the Herreninsel, do you? So instead, they needed to bring them up, and they left that as part of the architecture itself. Behind this, third gorgeous fountain, you can see that sightline, you can see that water, and just on the other side, that's Prien, right where we started. My favorite though are the turtles vomiting water. Very classy. Nothing says classy like animals vomiting. My favorite little palace engineering fact for you, though, is this little railway taking the stones by ferry from Prien over here to the Herrenchiemsee is cool, but you gotta get the stones from the shoreline to the palace foundations, and you do that with a little micro railway. This kind of stuff was all over the island during construction, then they ripped it up for some reason, and this is the last little bit that you can see. I think a lot of people miss it, probably because it's not that exciting, but it's really exciting to me, and that's the third railway of the day, if you're keeping count. But that being said though, I am being eaten alive by mosquitoes, and we've gone one pace away into the woods. I don't think we're hiking today, guys. They getting you too? Yeah, let's go back around the fountain. Though if the mosquitoes aren't biting you, I would still highly recommend that you go and do the trails. We did them last time. Again, shoulder season I think is perfect for this palace, and they're really beautiful. Nobody ever walks out there. There's some amazing lake views. So I'll put it on screen. This is the route that I would recommend, just not today. My favorite little history fact about this palace, though, isn't about its construction, nor the man who commissioned it, but what happened here in 1948 under Allied control. West Germany had essentially a constitutional convention right here. They brought in 30 legal experts to do more of like an advisory committee sort of thing. The main draft of the Grundgesetz, the basic law, would be done in Bonn. However, the people here were so thorough in their reasoning, their documentation, that it was referenced so many times in Bonn when the government was really being drafted, when the laws were all being put together. You can trace back so much of that basic Grundgesetz law to this palace itself. So in 1948, when the new German government was being created, it essentially all started right here. I think that's really, really something.
And that fact is actually super topical because Ben and I are currently studying for our Einbürgerungstest, our citizenship test, and there is a huge emphasis on the formation of the new German Constitution. So it's really cool to experience it firsthand during our studies.
I hope they have a question on it.
Me too.
Cheers. My final recommendation for you over here at Herrenchiemsee has to be its cute little cafe. I mean, what a place to have an ice cream. It closes a little earlier than you think, around 5 o'clock, but I managed to get in there with 1 minute to spare, got my ice cream, got my cola. I'm a happy man. Today has been so much fun, and I'm so glad that I finally got to share it with you. For now though, I think, well, there's not much more to say. We've seen the island, we've seen the palace itself, I've had plenty of good food. In about an hour, we'll be boarding our boat to go home. Thank you so much for coming on this adventure with me. If you haven't seen our Linderhof or Neuschwanstein videos, go and check those out, because I think making a full Ludwig II vacation could be really fun. In fact, I'd love to make a video putting that together as a full itinerary. So hit me up in the comments if you think that's a good idea. As always, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, wherever that might be.